Like Hal said, my name is Molly Soderstrom, and I am the executive director of the Brook. Did you know that the average age of someone living on planet Earth right now is 30 years old? The age of a young professional. I live in the city of Denver, Colorado, and over 50% of the city is between the ages of 20 and 40 years old, meaning that every other person that I walk by on the streets every day is also a young professional. And you know, people are moving to cities like crazy right now, right? For the fun, the adventure, the nightlife. It's amazing. But this last year, Denver got rated the third loneliest city in the United States. And that's where the Brook comes in. The Brook launched in May 2020 as a young professionals disciple-making movement that uses the means of digital outreach and in-person events to raise up faith leaders to have an impact in Denver and around the world. But as we think about young professionals, most young professionals live online, right? But they use online platforms for vanity's sake or to throw up a picture for an event. But at the Brook, we thought, what if maybe, just maybe, we utilize those online platforms for what they were originally intended, as a networking and connecting space. And at the Brook, over the last 3 years, we have got to make social media social again, right? We've got to see over 6,000 people connected through us online. From there, we've got to see over 3,000 people get connected at our in-person events, and ultimately 500 people get connected into a micro-church, which we call a simple church. This last week, we just had 3 new simple churches start. We're starting simple churches all the time and seeing multiplication happen. But to better explain that, I'd love to share with you a story of my friend Kira. So Kira was your typical young professional. She had graduated from college not too long ago. She was living at home in her parents' basement, working an online job. So she was online all of the time. Kira was at a spot in her life where she was feeling disconnected. She was feeling lonely. And then the Brook followed her on Instagram. And she started seeing this community of people who were having fun, engaging in relationships. And she saw there was an upcoming happy hour. So she thought, why not? I'll grab a friend and give it a try. So fast forward 2 weeks. Kira shows up to a happy hour at a cool rooftop venue in Denver, Colorado. And she's greeted by about 200 other young professionals who are hanging out, connecting. And that evening, Kira goes on to meet relationships that will forever change the course of her life. I get Kira's number that evening, and that next week we go out for coffee. I share the gospel with Kira, and it soon becomes really evident that she is leaning in towards the things of God, but she hasn't quite yet made a decision to follow Jesus. Until that day. Everything changes. Kira says yes to Jesus. She goes on to get baptized, and I start hanging out with Kira. I start showing her how to pray, how to read the Bible, how to share her story in everyday conversations with her non-believing friends around her. And what happens is Kira, like most people involved in the Brook, she joins one of our volunteer teams called the I'm New team. And what this team does is it takes people that get connected online, and then it connects them with somebody that's a part of our community. And so Kira got connected to a girl named Madison. And she finds out that Madison had just moved to Denver 3 days ago, found the Brook, and Kira becomes friends with Madison. And Madison says, you know what, that she just started following Jesus a couple weeks ago. And so, you know, Kira didn't know a whole lot, but she just started passing on to Madison the things that I had shared with her. And soon I got to help these girls kind of get some more girls together from the Brook and start a simple church that was meeting together on a regular basis. And it started going so well that Madison said, you know what? I want other women to experience what I'm experiencing. And so I helped Madison get another group of women together, and they start meeting together. And finally, she finds a leader named Jules that decides to take over that simple church. And that church is going so well that a girl in that church named Addie says, you know what, this has changed my life. Can other women experience what I'm experiencing too? And so Addie goes on to help start another simple church. And there's a girl named Taylor that decides to take over that simple church. So as we step back for a minute, we get to see 6 generations of disciples raised up and 4 Simple Churches launched in a matter of about 9 months. And you can be praying for Taylor, the new leader of that last Simple Church, that she would multiply this fall. But that's what our heart is, to see media and movement leverage, disciples being made, and churches being planted. A couple fun facts about the Brook I'd love to share with you is that we have an app. Our app has gone over super well. We have over 3,000 downloads. And through our app, we are meeting people's immediate needs for community and connection. We have interactive channels on our app, our social channels, our work from home channels, sports channels, roommate channels, and people are getting connected to community and then ultimately becoming open to the things of Jesus as well. At the Brook, in the city of Denver, we really feel like we get to serve this city as a whole. About 50% of the people coming into the Brook have a faith background, and the other 50% do not. And as people come in and they get connected into our Simple Churches, we see people getting involved at all different churches throughout the city, or we see others who find their Simple Church, and that is their sole form of church as well. But as I think of one of the things that I'm most excited about at the Brook is that we've got to grow pretty big on a small budget, really. I'm the executive director. Haley is the director of operations, and we have some creatives on our team as well. Trevor's our lead on that. But really, we function with so many volunteers. So we have a volunteer staff team of young professionals that have full-time jobs, but yet they have roles, responsibilities, job descriptions that they work with us at the Brook, and they have teams that they lead, and we have over 200 volunteers that help pull off all of our events, because our culture of one is that the best way to get connected is by volunteering. I truly believe that young professionals are looking for purpose and meaning outside of their jobs, so getting connected to our community and volunteering has become absolutely essential to what we do. So in closing, as we pioneer the way at the Brook, our vision is to have the resources to see the Brook continue to expand throughout Denver and cities throughout the United States, because I truly believe that this is just the beginning of how God wants to use young professionals to change the world, one life at a time, one young professional at a time. Thank you guys so much.